Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life, with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hey you guys, welcome back to the podcast. It is me, of course, Jess Paul, your spiritual bestie, your manifestation mentor, your host, everything to help you manifest the life of your dreams. And we're back. Welcome back to another week of the podcast. We're still here in California, loving life. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can get everything you freaking want from your life. From your life, from your career, from your relationships, in general. How do we get it all? How do we get it now? How do we manifest it? I want to take you through 4 main steps in how we do this. These are kind of like the main things that we want to think about, the main things that we have to remember if we want to manifest anything. I've been talking a lot about my manifestation process again and what really this whole work is about, because I'm about to relaunch my Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Academy. More information coming, guys. Very excited. But this is about to come out again, and this is the program that changed my whole damn life. It changed everything for me. And when we can get to grips with what this process actually means, what we've got to be doing, what we've got to be thinking, how we've got to be moving, then we can start to become this process, right? So it's not just something that we have to think about. Like, this is just something that we become, and we don't have to try anymore. We just live it, and we wake up every day and we are being this way. So there's 4 things that I want to talk about today, but before all that, I'm going to do a sponsor and a life update as always. So my sponsor for this week is, of course, my Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Academy 2.0. Cannot wait to bring you guys this academy again. It's been a year since I brought this out. So much has happened. It's going to be next level. So the doors aren't officially open for this yet, but so many of you have been signing up to my waitlist, which is going to be linked in the show notes. So head over there right now, because when you do sign up to the waitlist, then you get a huge chunk of money off. You're going to be receiving more and more information from me via emails, and we're going to be letting you know when the doors are officially opened. But my Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Academy is my signature 12-week course that changed my life and the lives of so many others forever. Inside this academy, you're getting every single one of my secrets, my journal prompts, my shadow work, the processes that I've been through myself that helped me transform my life and create the reality of my dreams today. Alongside a powerful group of women, I'll be leading you through my entire manifestation method from start to finish, helping you step into your next level confidence, become that abundant version of you, create your financial freedom, career success, job opportunities, the life of your dreams. But most importantly, I'll be helping you fall back in love with yourself and understand what it means to find self-belief, self-confidence, and the ability to show up as the woman you've always wanted to be. So get yourself signed up to the waitlist in my show notes right now. Once you've signed up to the waitlist, you're going to be receiving an email from me. You're going to be getting more information. You're going to be receiving a private invitation to jump on a call with me to see if this is the right fit for you, to see if this is something that you are ready to take on and to get involved in this time round. And I'm just so excited to bring this back bigger, bolder, better than ever before. If you guys have any other questions, drop me a DM over on Instagram at I am Jessica Paul. But other than that, I'll see you guys there, and let's make 2023 your best freaking year yet. So a little life update then before we get into today's episode. I had a realization over the weekend. So I had a really busy weekend. I spent it with my friends. I've made an amazing group of friends here in California, and it's another massive reason why I'm wanting to make this my home and stay here and manifest the visa and do all these things. This is the next journey for me. But I had this massive realization because I was feeling I was moving into self-sabotage mode over a few things. Like I've been updating you, I've been dating, I've been pushing myself out of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. And I was feeling a little bit of self-sabotage creep in. I was feeling a little bit of my walls coming back up again. And, part of this work is just becoming self-aware with these things, because these things never go away. Like I said in my previous episode about shadow work, your shadows are always going to be there, and that's okay. But being aware of them is the main thing. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, what's going on here? Like, why am I self-sabotaging? And I was sitting around the fire with my 2 girlfriends that I've made, really, really close girlfriends that I've made out here. We were having a glass of wine, and I just suddenly realized that I was sitting in my manifestation. And yet my mind was going to, but what do I not have? What do I not have yet? So I was sitting in my manifestation because over the past few years, I have been manifesting friendships that really freaking click. Those friends that are like, we're soul sisters, we were supposed to be in each other's energy. And over the years, I've manifested incredible people into my life on this level. But these 2 girlfriends that I've made out here just seem to be real soul sisters, like people that you honestly were always supposed to bump into. And I have always wanted this for myself, and I've always wanted to find my people that get me to that level. And I was sitting in that manifestation, yet I was thinking, oh, but this hasn't manifested for me yet, and this hasn't manifested for me yet, and this hasn't manifested for me yet. And we make problems because we are so conditioned not to be in this pleasure loop. And I've said before, we are allowed to create through pleasure, not just through pain. But I was sitting there going, well, this hasn't happened for me yet. And then I realized that I wasn't actively manifesting that thing. I hadn't been manifesting that thing. What I'd been manifesting was a group of girlfriends. And that's what I had sitting there right next to me, listening to me talk, listening to me pour my heart out. And I realized that actually the manifestation was here. And so it's a big lesson for all of us to look around and actually be present with what you have already manifested and be satisfied with where you are right now, because guaranteed you're sitting in one of your manifestations right now. So this was a big realization for me, but it also might be a realization for you guys too. Like, look around at your life. Like, what could you be sitting in right now that you've created that you're maybe not even aware of, that you can't even see because you're focusing too far ahead on what the next thing is? And allow yourselves to just sit into the satisfaction of that and enjoy that and know that you're allowed to be in that pleasure loop. It's a good thing to think about, because when you're in that frequency of pleasure and satisfaction, that's how you're going to create more things. And understand where you've been intentional and where you haven't been intentional. Because for me, I was there like pouring my heart out about something that I wanted that I didn't have. And I was like, hang on a sec, I've not even been intentional about this thing. I've been intentional about friendships and making and those connections, and I've manifested it, and I've got it here right now. So the thing that I'm crying about, that I'm going to get intentional about, and it was going to come into fruition just in the same way my friendships have. So very eye-opening, good thing for us all to think about for this week. But let's get into today's episode. So guys, my 4-step manifestation process. I am really excited to talk about this today because I've actually realized this is something I haven't expressed on the podcast before, and to me it's just like, duh, why have I not spoken about it? Because this is my whole process, and it's exactly what I teach inside my academy. It's exactly what I do daily myself to create all the things that I've created into my life. And I just figured this would be a great episode for you guys to go back to and listen over and over and over again whenever you're feeling like you're having a little bit of a funk, or you're feeling like you don't know where you should be getting intentional or where you should be putting your energy, just as your guide, as like your instruction manual and what we're actually doing here and how it's going to help you create all the things that you want into your life. And what I have been realizing recently is, because I've been getting ready to launch my Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Academy, and so many people have just been asking me, Jess, what even is manifestation? Because it gets thrown around so much, people talk about it so much, but then we're like, actually, how is this, what even is this process? How is it going to help me? How is it creating this life for you? Can you just explain? So I wanted to make this episode that you guys could go back to and listen back to whenever you wanted, so that you have this 4-step process here. And obviously this is my own method, but this is a method that so many people use to create the same results. But I just put my little edge on things, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be beating the sound of our own drum and being authentic. So, I put my little edge on it all, but This process, this method is what I've used to create this life that I live today, to create the money, the friends, the travel, the career success. And so this is going to be your go-to place so that you know where you're headed yourself. First, I think we should actually just go over what manifestation is again, because I think that we forget. So manifestation is this process of bringing your vision or your imagination, those things that you see in your mind, those possibilities that you create for yourself. It's a process of bringing that into the physical. It's a process of making your vision a reality. That's all it is. That's as simple as it is, guys. It's just making something real. And if you are good at imagining things, if you have a big imagination, if you have this mind that just takes you places like, ooh, imagine if I could do that. Imagine if I could be this. Imagine if I could get there. Then that means that everything that you're imagining, you also have the ability to create into this real world. And this is why I always say to people, you've got to dream big, because if you don't have the capacity to imagine or hold a vision, then you can't manifest anything. It's as simple as that. And so we want to get really intentional with this process. The reason that I coach my clients and that I run my academy is because we're getting intentional with this process. We're not just like roaming around day to day going, oh, cool, that happened to me today. Oh, that's fun. But oh, it didn't happen to me the next day. We're going, I'm going to make this happen to me today, and I'm going to make this happen to me today, and I'm going to make this happen for me because I'm in control. And this is really the process. Making something real, bringing something into this 3D world, but doing it with an intention because you want it and you know what you want. So step 1 of my manifestation process, get your journals, get your pens, write this down, and you can always replay this. But step 1 is decide it. Decide what you want. So often in life, we are so unclear on what it is we actually want. And there's a lot of reasons why we don't have clarity on what we want, because we are so blocked by limiting thoughts, by limiting beliefs. And this is something we'll get into in a minute. But like when you're so blocked by limiting ways of thinking, you're not clear on what you even want, but you just have this feeling of dissatisfaction. You just have this feeling of like, I want more from my life. I want to create more, but why? But what do I even want, right? If you don't decide what you want, the universe can't bring it to you. So we always say you've got to ask for it. And asking, I say all the time, is such a trait of a successful person. If you don't ask for what you want, nobody's ever going to know. The universe is never going to know. You're just going to be sitting there in confusion and frustration. So getting clear on what you want is the first step. So for example, for me, when I was manifesting my business and the freedom, the financial freedom into my life, I had to get really super clear on how much money I actually wanted to call in. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who say, oh, I just want more money. I want to be free. I want my financial freedom. But it's like, how much money do you want? How much money do you actually want to be calling in? And if you can't even put a figure on it, if you can't put a number on it, because often we can't, because we get very, very blocked right from the beginning of what we believe we're capable of. And so when we have a subconscious belief that we're not capable of creating something, then we just don't even allow ourselves to go there. We don't even allow ourselves to ask for it. And this is the first thing we go through inside my academy, because there's so many of you guys that are so blocked, and myself, when I'm going to my next level in the things that I want to create, like we go through this whole process of, oh God, but is that too much? Am I asking too much? Right? Number one, you can never ask for too much, but you have to be clear. How much money do you actually want to make? If you're not telling the universe what you want, then it can't give it to you. It can't bring it into your vortex. It's like a screen that's around you, and everything you ask for specifically is behind that screen, and you've just got to let it come to you. But if you're not asking for it because you're blocked by fears that it's too much, or you're not capable of it, or you're not good enough to create that thing, then you will never get it, right? So when I was manifesting my business, I got really clear from the get-go. I was like, I'm going to manifest a 5K month. In my first few months of business, I was like, at 5K, let's do it. And within 4 weeks, I'd done that. If I had just gone, I would like to manifest some money, I could have manifested some money. I could have manifested a couple of £100 or something, and that would have been cool. But I got really super clear on how much I wanted. And it's the same for manifesting a man, let's say, because I'm dating at the moment, right? I need to get clear on the type of man that I want to call in. I don't want to just call in a man, because there's lots of men out there, but they're not all going to be suited to me, right? So I've got to ask myself, what kind of values does he have? How chivalrous is he? You know, what do I want this man to be? You know? And if you can get really, really clear, then it gives you even more of a chance, even more of a possibility. Even if it seems crazy to you right now, it's being put into your vortex and you have the opportunity to call it in. Okay, so the next step in this process is vibe with it. Vibe with what you want. So when we talk about vibing at the frequency of our desires, this might also be a phrase that you hear being thrown around in this world. What does that actually mean? Because again, these things we hear all the time, but it's like we have to break them down and understand them. So vibing at the frequency of your desires just basically means that you have to feel the way that you would feel if you had that thing, because we're living in a vibrational reality. So everything that we're feeling right now is dictating what we're calling in right now. So this is why, you know, a lot of people can say manifestation is about being positive and being happy. You know, it's not just about that, guys, because, you know, let me tell you, I will hold my hands up, because I am the first to have a meltdown and to cry about things and to not feel good and to be overcome with self-sabotage and all of these things. It's normal, it's natural. You know, we can't be positive all the time, but what we can be is we can be very intentional about how we would feel if we had all of those things in our life. So in this step, it's basically the step where we have to get rid of all of the shitty beliefs that we have about ourselves and about the world around us. We have to get to the root of our subconscious mind, because it's our subconscious that's running in the background that's making us not feel good half the time, right? Because if we're believing that we're not capable of things, or that we're not good enough, or that those things aren't possible for us, then we're not going to be feeling great. So this step in the process is quite a big one. It's probably it's like most of what we're going through in the academy, where we're going back to where these limiting beliefs came from in the first place. And a lot of the time we're just conditioned. We're conditioned to believe so many things about this world and about what we're capable of through our childhood, through the way that we've been brought up in this world. That's not our fault. It's nobody else's fault. But if we want to move forward and if we want to create more into our life, then we have to become self-aware and we have to move through these stages. So this step in the process is a really big one, because not only are we getting to grips with what these subconscious beliefs are and how they're holding us back, but we're also letting them go. And we're also creating brand new empowered beliefs. And not only that, but we're really working on energy here too, because when we're holding on to negative energy, when we're holding on to, you know, jealousy or hating on people or feeling resentment towards people that have maybe done you wrong in your life, you're holding on to energy that isn't serving you, because that is a frequency that is holding you apart from the things that you want. So as an example here, I'm manifesting my visa to stay in California. I could be sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, how is that going to happen? How am I going to get there? Feeling restricted or feeling frustrated. But I've got to ask myself, how do I vibe at the frequency of an American visa holder? What is the frequency of that? And you've got to ask yourself, how would you feel if you had that thing? So how would I feel if I had my visa right now and I was living here and I was moving into a brand new flat in California? Well, I'd feel fucking free. I'd feel elated. I'd feel amazing. I'd feel like my best self. And these are the feelings that we've got to start feeling if we want to match this frequency, if we want to vibe at this frequency. Same if you're manifesting the dream man into your life, right? And you're dating. If you're dating and you're going into your dates feeling frustrated and with walls up and not open and closed off, then you are not vibing at the frequency of the thing that you want. Because if you had that thing, if you had that man in your life, you'd be feeling so much love, you'd be feeling so open, so free, so happy. And so this is why we say we have to get rid of this bullshit around us. We have to get rid of this way of thinking, create a new way of thinking, go into our shadows, learn about forgiveness, really let go of these things if we want to move into this new way of being and vibe with it, right? Vibe at this frequency. So there's a lot in this step, and it's not very simple in terms of like what we're actually going through. But once you have cleared out these beliefs, and once you have created these new beliefs, then you're going to be vibing with everything that you've ever wanted, and that's what's going to call it all in for you. Okay, the third step here in this manifestation process is action it. So this is also one of the biggest things for me as a mentor, as a person, as a friend, as everything in life. I take a lot of action. And it's the reason that I've seen a lot of success in my life. It's the reason that I've seen a lot of things call into my life. And it's also the reason that a lot of people don't see things come into their life, because a major part of this whole process is the physical action taking that you have to take in order to make it happen. Like I said at the start, manifestation is literally a process of bringing your vision or your imagination into the physical world, right? So if you're not taking physical action, then how the hell is it going to end up in your physical world, okay? And I think this is a step so many people miss off because honestly, you don't want to go there. People don't want to go there. It's scary to take big action. It's scary to take massive leaps. It's scary to make massive investments in your life or let go of huge chunks of money or fly across to the other side of the world or put yourself in front of producers or casting directors or, it's scary to take big action, and people skip this step off and just sit in their rooms and think, oh, okay, if I clear out my energy field and if I, like create new beliefs and say good affirmations, then the things will come to me. But all of that doesn't matter until you take the action. The action is the thing that's actually going to create the physical in this world. The action is the thing that's actually going to create the manifestation. And it's the step that so many people block off out of fear. And one of the things I always say to people is you've got to be able to hold your hands with fear, because this fear is never going away. And I'll tell you that. Like, I felt it when I was sitting in the airport on my way to fly to California. I was like, oh my God, I'm terrified, right? It never goes away. Yes, it gets easier in the sense of like, you just know that it's a part of the process. So it's something that you've got to fricking do. And you've got to always ask that question, how much do I want it? But as an example, I've just given you, me flying across here, like this is a big deal for me. If I want to move here, then I've got to get on the plane, right? Or if I want to manifest the man into my life, then I've got to go on the dates, right? Or if I want to manifest my dream body, then I've got to get in the gym, right? These things are it's very fundamental to the process, and so often people don't want to do it. So just know that you may have done all this mindset work, you may have been in this self-development space for a while and get all this stuff, but if you haven't taken the action, if you're holding back on doing that, or if you know that you're being blocked by it and you need someone to give you a kick up the ass, then this is why as well inside the academy we work really hard on this, because I'm not only here to coach you on your mindset, I'm here to actually see results for you. And I love this part. I love being able to get people actually up and running and taking the action, because it feels so good when you do, because this is this extra amount of momentum that is added on to what you're doing that is just like, boom, I'm so ready to go. And when you start seeing the little tiny manifestations appear through the action you take, this gives you even more momentum and impetus to like keep going with this. So just know that this is another massive part of this process. Action it always. Okay, so the fourth and final step of this process, and by the way guys, like I said, there's so much more that goes into this, and once you're in it and you're working through it, then there's a lot more that you can pull out, but these are the very simple steps that we're going through today. So the fourth step is trust it. You got to be able to trust everything you're doing, all the work that all the action steps you're taking and all the work you're doing right now. You've got to trust it all, and you've got to trust yourself, and you've got to trust that it's coming to you. So what tends to happen, and what I tend to see in a lot of people, is that you'll go through this step process where you'll decide what you want, you'll start vibing with it, you'll, change up these beliefs and really work on your energy, and then you'll, move into taking like these little baby steps of action, and then nothing happens. and you're like, what the hell? I've done the process. Why is the process not working? And this is the reason that I place so much importance on faith and having this very spiritual aspect to my work, because honest to God, guys, if you don't have a faith in this life, then you're going to find it really hard. You're going to struggle, because there's a lot of times in this life where you're not going to see the thing. So often we get caught up in, like, if we don't see it, then we can't believe it. We've got to be able to believe it to see it. This is, as I said before, you got to have the vision, hold the imagination, and then we create from that. So this faith aspect is so important. Trusting the process, trusting what you've done, trusting yourself, trusting the universe or your angels or God or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't even care. Like, I do not care what name you give it. You just have to have the faith that it's happening and that things are working out for you. This is why I go in on a lot of my spiritual rituals. And yes, I do do things like talk to my spirit guides and talk to angels and, like follow number synchronicities and my angel numbers, things like this, and look for signs. Because even though some people might look at that and think it's ridiculous or, want to judge you for that, if that's helping you get to where you want to be, what harm is it doing to anybody, right? And for me, it's been one of the biggest parts of this whole process, especially over the last 3 years. My faith has been the thing that has kept me going. It's kept me moving on this cycle and kept me going back to these steps and taking the action and doing the thing, because when you feel like giving up, your faith is all you've got. So this is why the spiritual aspect here is very, very important. Leaning into your intuition, leaning into your psychic abilities, all of these things, whatever it is that lights you up. If you don't have a faith, this whole process is going to become 10 times harder for you. So these are the 4 steps. I'll just recap them again for you. And you can write this down. You can go back on this podcast, like I said, as many times as you want, re-listen. But number 1 is you decide it. Ask the universe for what it is that you want. Number 2, you vibe with it. Get used to clearing out the belief systems that aren't serving you, creating new belief systems, cleaning out the energy, getting to know your shadows, doing all the inner work so that you can vibrate at the frequency of what it is that you want. Number 3, action it. Take the action, do the thing, make sure that you're moving in that physical, because it's the physical that we want to see the results in, right? So number 3 is action it, and number 4 is trust it. Make sure you have a faith. Make sure you're leaning into your faith, whatever that is for you. This is why my academy is so beautiful, because it doesn't matter. Like, you can be Christian, you can be Catholic, you can believe what you want to believe, but as long as you have a faith there, that's what's going to help you see these results quicker. If you have no faith, if you're a very pessimistic person about where we're actually, what we have surrounding us and the trust that you have in the world, then you're going to find it a lot harder. So having that faith is key. And we really go into that together as well in the academy. That's our miracle side of the academy that we work on closely together, where we are talking to spirit guides and we are doing those things. So just know that that is a huge part of my process personally, and it's seen me the greatest results. So guys, like I said, go back on these 4 steps as much as you want. Write everything down. Let me know over on Instagram what you've loved about today's episode. Do take a screenshot, tag me on your stories, because I love to see who's listening in. But just know that this is the process. This is my process that I use daily. This is what I think about every single day when I'm getting really intentional about what I want to manifest. And like I said, this becomes a way of being, where you wake up in the morning and you're not even thinking about doing it. You just do it because it's so ingrained within you. And this is where we want you to get to when you come through this academy, my Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Academy, because we want it to become that way of being for you, where none of it is even conscious anymore. It's taking on in your subconscious, that you've changed your subconscious that much that this is just the way that you are now. And you will become that person that everybody else looks at and goes, damn, how is she doing it, right? This is what this academy is about. It's about managing that vibration and really creating this reality for yourself. So again, if you guys are interested in this academy, If you want to find out more, like I said, doors haven't officially opened yet, but I have got my waitlist now up and I've got lots of you already signing up. If you want to get a big chunk of money off, then all you have to do is sign your name up to this waitlist. It is there in the show notes, in my show notes right now for you to go and click. Make sure you do. Drop me a DM over on Instagram if you have any more questions. But I cannot wait to bring this out. I cannot wait to get back in this group with you guys, like this container with you guys, because we have seen so many results. So much magic has come out of this container because we just go all in. We are holding each other accountable. We're transforming these beliefs. We're making these things happen. And we're doing it together. Full support. So if you want to be involved, let me know. Get signed up to the waitlist. And other than that, I'll chat to you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at @IamJessicaPaul so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.